Hi everyone and welcome back to the PARLOR podcast. As I mentioned in my first solo episode, every episode we're going to be bringing on some of our expert guests so that you can learn everything about the skin conditions and the important things that we're all talking about. And I did mention in the last one that acne was going to be such a big topic to explore on the podcast. So I'm super excited today to introduce Holly Harris. Hi Holly.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No worries at all. I've been super excited for you to kickstart being the first guest today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously we know each other before, and I have been following you ever since, well, I've actually been following you for a long time before I actually met you.
Yeah.
And I was super excited to get you on the podcast today because it's mainly your experience and expertise within acne and also with eczema that has made me think of the people listening who are really going to benefit from some of the things we're going to touch on basically and talk about today. Yeah. We can't not say that. You've got a little baby with you here today. Of course. How old is he now?
7 weeks. 7 weeks. So working mum life is we've just come back full force, straight in.
And you're glowing.
Oh,
you're absolutely
thank
glowing.
you.
I did not look like that at 7 weeks. So as we've obviously chatted before the cameras are rolling, we're just going to roll with it today. And if little man wants to make some noise on the microphone, that's absolutely fine. See what he's got to say. So you are a skin expert and founder of Oh My Glow in Cheshire.
Yeah.
Do you just want to do a little bit of an introduction for everyone, just for how long you've been involved in Oh My Glow and what your background and experience is?
So we've been open for, I think it's 7 years.
Oh, wow.
This month. July, next month.
I think it was about 3-4 years ago that I discovered you.
Was it?
Yeah,
It has been quite a while.
Mm.
And I was a high school teacher.
Wow.
And
Total
I was
180.
Completely. Yeah. I was juggling everything. I was juggling everything, and I went for a treatment for my own skin with a lady, and I ended up following her, and she started training, and I was like, do you know what, I'm really interested in this. I've always been really interested in skincare, and I've been quite lucky, other than, when I was sort of say like 13, otherwise I've generally had quite good skin.
Yeah.
Just very dry and dull sort of thing. And but I've just been really passionate about skincare, and I've just had a real interest in it.
Yeah. Oh, he just wants to talk about
He does,
skin.
doesn't he? So I ended up training with her. And was juggling both at the same time. As skin got busier, I just decided that, you know what, I've always been very interested in business. I was that kid who would be selling her old toys outside the house and stuff like that. Like, I've just always loved anything like that. So I launched my skincare business. And then around 4 years ago, I think it was, we launched the training academy, Skin Society. So I kind of wanted to get back into that training role as well. Yeah. So now I have two businesses, Oh My Glow and Skin Society. So we're focusing with Oh My Glow on acne, eczema and rosacea, and then with the Skincare Academy we teach our VTCT courses to train other men and women to be skincare practitioners.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's really great that you can actually offer that service to train people up as well, because I think once you've been hands-on and got that much experience and you are the experts in skin, just to pass that on to people to then be able to spread that, and everyone have the same, well, everyone's always different out there and unique in how they train, but to have that same expectation of knowledge as well.
Yeah, and do you know what was really good? When I very first started training, a lot of my OG clients who've been with me for years, I say years, they didn't take that long to clear it, but who've been with me for a long time, then also trained as well. Yeah, right. Which is such a full circle moment, clearing their acne and then teaching them how to do it for the people.
And I get that, because I feel like they was obviously interested in skin and the health of it anyway by coming to your clinic for the treatments. And then once you're that passionate and you're in it, you've got that in you then, haven't you? Yeah. And I do find if you've been battling yourself, obviously I've spoke to you when I've come in the clinic a few times, and I've had acne for, God, I want to say about 15 years. I've tried and do a bit of mental maths in my head. No, longer than that, way longer than that. Oh my God, totally longer than that. I was 14 when I first got acne. But I did have a big period where it did clear up for a while, so I'm kind of removing that from my time scale. I feel like I did have a section of my life when it wasn't the biggest thing. But it started at 14 and then just got progressively worse, to be honest. And then I think when I was in my early 20s, I was heavily reliant on the pill Dianet,
Yeah.
because obviously back then that's the first thing you did, wasn't it? You went
Yeah.
to the GP,
Yeah.
and they were like, it's hormones, put me on Dianet. I was actually on Dianet from being young, but well, I think I was on another one first and then swapped onto Dianet. But I remember when I was turning 20 and in my early 20s, that's when I was like, okay, I've got no acne anymore. Like,
Yeah.
this is loads better. But then I think it worked for a while, and then it didn't. Like, it never really went after that. I was always like up and down with it. But obviously, knowing what I know now about Dianet and the pill, I look back and I'm so annoyed at myself as well for being on it for that long. But it's like the first step, isn't it? That people, especially back then as well, it's like, here's the pill, and it will mask that.
Yeah, and it's so funny actually, because in some people it will clear your acne whilst you're on it. In others, like myself, it gave me acne.
Made it worse.
Yeah,
I didn't have it. Oh, so you didn't have it, and then
no.
the pill gave you acne,
Yeah,
right?
and as soon as I came off it, within a week, it had gone again.
Right. And do you think that's because like your hormones were actually okay before that, and then that's just disrupted them, and it's caused?
Yeah, it just depends how your hormones are and in what way they're balanced or imbalanced. Yeah, absolutely.
And for somebody like me who had it quite severe, it actually balanced it. So I think for me, it was probably higher testosterone.
Potentially.
Do you think that would have been?
Potentially, it just depends. It depends on what hormone is in your pill that you're having. Obviously, there's so many different pills, and it depends on your individual hormones. So it could have been that, you know, you had quite a high testosterone and it added extra. It could have been that your estrogen was a little bit too high. It just depends. It just depends completely on person to person. That's why it's not a one size fits all sort of experience with acne or the pill.
Yeah. And I feel like the health problems that it can cause afterwards. Like, I remember it took, when I did finally come off it, which was so long after, I was on it for way too long. I literally didn't have a period for like a year. And that's when I was trying to plan having a family. And then I was just waiting then. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, the last time I saw you in clinic, you just had the one little boy then, I think. Yeah, you had just, oh, was you pregnant with him? I can't actually remember now.
Do you know what? No, if you
I actually can't remember.
I think it would have been before I even had him.
Yeah, it might have been actually. Yeah, but because I have seen you since you've had him. But yeah, I think it might have been before then, because you've got quite a small age gap, haven't you, with the boys?
15 months.
Wow, Irish twins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I came to you for radio frequency microneedling.
Yeah.
And obviously, with being an acne sufferer for like pretty much all my life, I do have acne scarring, and I was aware that this was like the next level, like for my scarring, and I was so excited to come in for it. But I do remember the week running up thinking like, this is just a really bad week with my jawline acne. I mean, when I say a bad week, like I'd have a bad week every month. It was never like I was having a month without it. But yeah, I do remember this particular visit. It was just so sore, and you did say, we can't treat with that, which I kind of knew you was going to say that anyway.
It's so interesting though, because I do think that those sort of policies are going to be changing. I can see it. I can see a change in the industry where it's happening more in America, and people are trialing it here, where people are actually needling over acne and getting some really good results.
Oh, okay.
I haven't tried it myself. Yeah. I'm going to wait for those policies and regulations and things to change. But you know, it could be something that is coming.
And is that because they're perhaps making it safer, that actually like needling over the active acne, it's not actually going to make it worse?
I think it's because in needling you are getting rid of the debris as well, because the skin cycle and the shedding of the skin cycle, so it actually does just help to clear everything. And I think it is up and coming. I do think it is something that's going to be changing.
Right, okay,
I think it probably will work quite well, but at the minute it's very controversial.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. And I remember thinking at the time, you're probably not going to do it, but
no,
fingers crossed, maybe you can avoid it, but it was bad.
The thing is, you always can avoid it, especially if it's in one area, but it's whether it's worth it, because that's your troublesome area, so why would I avoid that area? That's the area you want to treat.
Yeah, exactly. So. And then instead you did a lovely extraction on my big juicy spots. I was like, this hurts, but then they went down, they shrank. I was like, oh my God, I wish literally every time I have a jawline acne breakout, I wish I could come in and just get these removed, because I can't pop a spot.
Well, again, this is controversial, so really it's different going to a professional than it is doing it at home as well.
Yeah, so
I would never advise anyone
to
do that at home. Yeah. And I always say it depends on my client. So if they are a spot popper, I would rather make sure it's done, in a clean, sterile, controlled environment.
Yeah.
And where you're not going to cause any scarring.
Yeah.
I also sometimes get clients where they're not necessarily spot poppers, but those spots really are so close to the edge that even just cleansing or something like that will pop half the spot.
Yeah.
half the sebum will come out and half it will stay trapped, and then your skin will grow over it, and then it gets deeper and deeper. So it's a tricky one. Definitely for things like blackheads, they can be extracted, sort of that. The comedones that are not inflamed, the closed comedones, you can extract them, no problem.
Right.
I definitely wouldn't be advising anyone at home to be extracting an open comedone, so anything with sort of like a pus-filled spot.
Yeah. And I suppose at home, like, how would you even get rid of a blackhead on your own? Like, I wouldn't, like, could you actually pick that off? Like, do people actually do that?
Yeah, you can do. It depends how many you've got.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever tried that.
Have you not?
No, I've never tried to pick a blackhead. I just always worry. I mean, I'm scarred enough from having bad acne that I just, like, I can't pick anything. I just don't do it.
Yeah. To be honest, you are better off doing that. You don't want to be picking a spot. You are likely to spread it. Yeah. So I would say sit on your hands, leave them well alone.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a couple of weeks after that I had been to you that then I was realising that this jawline acne wasn't going to go away. I'd been battling it for quite a long time, and it was just on the off chance that I went with a company that did a prescription. Where you send your photos. Well, it was Renew and Me, so formerly, well, Skin and Me, but like the big sister, the big sister brand. And sent a few photos of myself, and they come back with a dermatologist like opinion and then a personalised prescription, and it had, I always pronounce it wrong, Tretinoin. So we'll call it Tret in case I say it wrong. So it had Tret in it and azelaic acid and hyaluronic acid. I think it was those three. It just came 0. It's listed as 0.10%, but I think it's actually 0.1. People call it as Just checking my knowledge is okay, because sometimes I'll get mixed up. And like I started using it straight away. After a while I did notice my cheeks were like, whoa. So then I started just to like localise it on my jawline. But it did clear it. Yeah. And it hasn't ever really returned after that. So that was like a massive thing for me with adult acne. And especially because it was so just focused on the jaw. I was literally making sure I put it on there like maybe like 4 times a week I think I was using it. Might have used it more at one point. But I was aware that I couldn't bring it any higher because I was getting really pink and really sensitive. I could feel it like stinging in the night. So is this like people say online, you see all these dermatologists on Instagram, Tret is gold standard, run don't walk on Tret, basically this thing. Do you agree with this? Is it gold standard?
Again, it depends person to person. So Tret is a vitamin A, which is like a retinoid. So you've got your retinol and then you've got your tretinoin. Tretinoin, the difference in the two really is that one has to be prescribed by a doctor or a medical professional, so that's tretinoin. A retinoid you can get over the counter, you can get different strengths, retinol, retinoid, all these sorts of Retinol. It depends on the person and whether you need it. My issue with Tret is that not everybody needs Tret.
Right, and I'm feeling this now. Like if you'd spoke to me this time a year ago, I probably would have said different, but now I am realising that I should have been a little bit more aware of the strength that I'd been given. And I have said to people, if you've got jawline acne, this is what you need. It's going to get rid of it. Everyone go and Renew me, you need this, blah, blah, blah. And now that I'm suffering from a very weakened skin barrier, which I didn't know at the time, I'm like, okay, I want to retract that because I don't think it's for everybody. So you feel that too. And do you feel like people are giving it a lot for anti-aging and acne, or is it more people are leaning towards anti-aging, or are you finding it's very much given to people with acne?
It's given...
Because I'd never heard about it for acne before.
Had you not?
No, I'd never heard about it. I'd heard about so obviously like Roaccutane, that's a form of... So I was going to say, that is vitamin A, isn't it? But I'd never heard about a cream version.
So it's the same. So it's the same thing.
Right.
So that is where I think if you have extremely bad cystic acne, and you have tried a retinol already, then you might need a tretinoin. Yes, absolutely.
Right. So if you've used a retinol and it's not worked, you might need Tret. Okay.
And that's not to say, again, there are completely different versions. So some are encapsulated retinols, some are non-encapsulated, some are slow releasing, some aren't. It depends on the particle size and the molecule size. So going to an over-the-counter brand and just guessing isn't always the right thing. Because they do also mix it with squalene, and they'll say it's a 2% retinol, and actually it's not. It's 2% when mixed with squalene, which is a buffer.
Okay, so the squalene would water it down.
Yeah. So it's going to someone who has the knowledge on what your skin needs, because again, it depends where you go. If you're wanting, it is given to someone for anti-aging. If you go to a private clinic,
right.
But again, do they need a Tret? I'd argue not.
Right,
a retinol would do the job.
Okay, so perhaps Tret is a little strong for anti-aging.
I think so, personally.
Yeah, and is that because you think it can just weaken the skin barrier?
Just because the way it works, a lot of people think that they're having a bit of a reaction to retinols and tretinoins because their skin is shedding.
Like, go through the purge, you can go through it, and sometimes I'm like, ooh.
It's tricky, it depends. So if your skin's just flaking, it's either, well, you're probably using it too much, or you can sandwich it, so you could use like a moisturiser, then your retinol or Tret, and then your moisturiser. Yeah. But then you're just using double the amount of moisturiser and you're going to have to buy more. So is that something that's come from the skincare industry, to get consumers to buy more, potentially?
Yeah, true.
What I would argue is instead of doing that, you should be on a lower percentage. If that's not working for you, but that shedding process is the retinol or the Tret doing what it's meant to do.
The shedding process, is that right? Okay,
yeah. Whereas if you're purging, some people will purge, some people won't. That sebum kind of does have to go somewhere, so it very often does bring out a purge. I'd say if you're still purging at week 6 to 8, that's probably not the right product for your skin. And it's interesting that you said that your cheeks could feel it. Your cheeks are always the most sensitive area, obviously under your eyes and things like that, but in terms of like your full face,
that would be the area to go.
Yeah, and then we're seeing it a lot in clinic now where we're having to work on people's barrier that has become compromised because of using a Tret when they could have just used a retinol, or using it too young and they don't even need it. Yeah,
and that's the thing, because like I am grateful for finding it, because I've not had, I used it consistently for about a year and I've not had a return. Occasionally I'll get the odd spot. I don't think I'll ever be spot free. I hope. I'm 40 now, so I keep thinking like, God, when I'm 50, am I actually going to wake up one day and be like, I've got a spot? I'm hoping I won't. But yeah, I don't know life without it, basically. Yeah. So I keep thinking, oh, okay, this is where we're at the moment is great.
Yeah.
But I haven't used it for ages, but I feel like I'm living in fear that it's going to come back. But do you think if I consistently used it for 12 months and it has tackled it, I'm in quite a good place?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you still using it now?
No, I'm not using it now.
Nice job.
And but the only thing is my skin barrier is wrecked. So I did have it checked, and I had like a really mild peel put on my face because I have pigmentation, and it literally like burned as soon as I put it on.
That's probably the worst thing you could do.
And and I was literally like, it needs to come off, to come off, and it was wiped off. And then I looked in the mirror, I could see how pink and blotchy I was, and I was like, I feel like this has made it even worse. So now I am strictly just on skin barrier repair.
Yeah. Hydration, protection.
Yeah. And for someone like me who's in that stage, how long do you think from me using like a strict skin barrier, like fixing regime, what am I looking at really to get this not back to normal but strong?
Your answer will be different to somebody else's because it depends how quickly your skin will repair, and obviously as we're aging, that does slow down anyway. But then it's
probably not looking good for me.
No, it will go back to normal. But again, it depends how impaired it was as well. It'll be different for everybody.
And I don't actually know how impaired it was, but I do know that a mild peel went on and it stung like hell. So I am for Tret, but maybe after this, when my skin barrier is repaired, I shouldn't be running to it for my next stage of like anti-aging focus. Whereas I think I'm past the acne treating stage, but I shouldn't really be running for it again.
I wouldn't for anti-aging. I'd do either a retinol or in-clinic treatments and focus on hydration and skin barrier at home. Yeah,
and I feel like we're seeing more of this as well now, aren't we?
Especially with Korean skincare.
Yeah, and people making so many mistakes.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you next about something that, again, is like viral online and everybody's talking about it. And like I myself have like I've dipped into this area, is the whole red light and LED mask craze. First of all, what's your top level thoughts on it? Like, are you for the red light masks?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We've got 3 in clinic, and we use them in every single treatment, pretty much, really, other than massage. We always use them. They're not all made the same, is what I will say.
This is the thing, isn't it? And I feel like people don't have the education and knowledge to know this. We're just sold to from marketing. And what I'm also seeing is a lot of people just launching their own. So like people I've been following that haven't necessarily even got a background in beauty, then launch their own red light masks. I'm like, are you just following what a manufacturer's just told you to like?
It'll be white labelled.
White labelled masks. And I'm like, this makes it really difficult because I feel like there's so many to choose from out there. How would somebody know which one to go for?
It is a really tricky one. It's not you have to really do your research into them, especially when some of them are so expensive.
Yeah.
But even then, it can be hard to understand. So you want to look at the energy output and the kilojoules, because that's probably one of the biggest.
Right.
They do need to have a specific wavelength, and to make sure they're penetrating deep enough into the skin, because some of them, like the ones we have, penetrate deep enough into the bone, sort of thing. So you can use them pre and post surgery and things like that to help with healing process.
And is there a certain number that people need to be aware of with wavelength to look at?
Wavelengths, most of them are the right sort of wavelength now.
Yeah.
LED lights have been around for years and years and years. And when they very first sort of came out and people weren't using them as much at home, the at-home devices had like 12 different colours to them.
Yeah.
And they're just not scientifically proven at all to do anything. And in which case the wavelengths were all over the place. The ones that are scientifically proven to work are your red, near-infrared and blue.
Okay.
So they do different things. So your blue is sort of like your antibacterial, your near-infrared is your healing, and then your red is your collagen. They do more things than that, but they're your basics. Yeah. And each one of those has a wavelength. But generally speaking, most of them now are on the correct wavelength, even the at-home devices. Yeah. But it's the energy output that will vary because...
Right, so that's what people should be looking at when they're researching.
Yeah, I mean, even for example, we use Dermalux in clinic. We've got 2 tri-waves, which are the biggest and the most powerful that we've got, definitely in the UK and Europe. I don't want to say the world, I don't know, but they're pretty good. Yeah. And then we've also got a Flex, which is the at-home device.
Of Dermalux.
You can buy it at home, but it's £2,000, so not many people are doing.
Yeah, that's a big investment.
Yeah, but even with those two, there's still quite a big difference. So the Flex, you could go under that every single day if you wanted to. Whereas the Tri-Wave, we can only do it twice a week.
And is that because
the energy output
so
is
powerful?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And is that the one, like, say if I came to you for microneedling or a peel or anything, and you were to put me under, is that the Tri-Wave? Or
yes, potentially. So the way we kind of work it is it depends what we've got available at the time, because we have so many eczema and topical steroid clients now that some clients have got 2 of the big machines on them at once.
Right, wow.
So if you came in and you were in for a peel, for example, and your skin was looking pretty good, we could still put you under the Flex and you would really see the benefits. Yeah. Whereas a client who came to me with topical steroid withdrawal is going to need the bigger, more powerful machine. So
they need the more powerful ones. Yeah. So the blue light, do you think anyone suffering with acne, they're going to benefit from the blue light on these masks? Yeah. And that's because it kills bacteria? Yeah. Is that basically what it does?
That's the main job of the blue light, is to kill a bacteria.
And how many times a week do you think they should do that if they have a mask at home?
So not many at-home masks have blue light.
Right, okay.
They tend to have red and near-infrared. Right. They don't actually have the blue setting. If they do, at home you could use it every day, and I would say really to see the benefits you want to be using it 3 to 4 times a week, regardless of what colour it is, red, near-infrared or blue.
Minimum of 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah, to really see the benefits. And the interesting thing about near-infrared is that it's invisible to the naked eye as well. So we can very often, if someone, we'll go into this more I'm sure later, but if someone's coming with eczema, for example, under their eyes, we can put them underneath that without having to put goggles on.
Right, okay,
so it can work really well, because you can't see it to the naked eye.
Yeah, because that is a common area, isn't it?
Yeah,
for eczema,
absolutely.
to sit beneath the eyes, and you think, what on earth can I do with that? Yeah. So somebody struggling with acne, do you think it's more beneficial that they invest in a mask and they start getting into the habit of using it regularly at home? Like you said, ideally they could use it every day if it had blue light. Or do you think their money's best spent to invest it in actual Dermalux treatments in a clinic, like maybe, what would you say, weekly, monthly?
So it depends what we're treating. So if we're treating acne, then...
So like cystic acne.
Yeah, we could be doing it once a month. We wouldn't do it as a standalone treatment, because you're going to need more than that. Yeah. So you are going to need a peel or IPL or something like that. So I would say you're better off doing that, because doing just blue and near-infrared at home... you're not going to get the same benefits. You kind of need a bit more than that. With acne, you need to be a little bit harder.
Especially if it's stubborn acne that someone's been struggling with for a while. Yeah. It needs, yeah. I remember when I'd had, God, I feel like I'll talk on here and people will be like, oh my God, you just had everything that's gone wrong. So I had peels, and I probably told you when I came into clinic, it was years ago, it was 5 years ago when my little girl was a baby. And the peels I'd had a course, and then the very last one, she upped the strength, left it on a bit longer, and it burned, and that I literally had to go to hospital to get someone to check my skin, because I was like, what are these burns? I was just burnt and couldn't leave my house for like 2 weeks. And I remember what they offered me was come in every day for the first week and go under the Dermalux, and it did speed it up, and that was the first time I thought, this is a miracle. obviously if I'd not done it, I would have healed probably anyway, but it really sped it up.
Yeah, it does.
And I think people at first, like me back then without any knowledge, I thought, I've got burns on my face from a peel that's gone wrong. Why am I going to go under LED light? Why am I going to sit under light? But it's not. That's the wrong way to think. And once they explained that to me, I was like, okay, it's healing.
Yeah, it's LED therapy, it's light therapy, it's not UV, so it's not going to cause any damage like UV would.
Yeah. So for someone that comes to your clinic with acne, whether they've suffered with it for a long time or they might have had like 5-6 months with it and nothing is clearing it. Do you sit down and go through, like, what do you think of the foods and the diet and that aspect? Because I know some people can just get fed into all the products out there and treatments and straight away think, I've got to treat this topically, I've got to get treatments done. And then there's other people that go the other way and they're like, it's all internal, I'm going to cut dairy out, I'm going to cut sugar out. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think there's some things that people are missing that everyone should be aware of, like when it comes to like diet? Is there something is the sugar thing a myth?
Yeah, I don't think it's one size fits all.
Yeah.
We always do a consultation that's normally about like half an hour with an acne client, and we look into everything. So I want to know the ins and outs. I want to know everything that you are eating and drinking and in what order. I want to know what skincare you are putting on. I want to know your bowel movements. Yeah. I want to know everything really, because that will pinpoint me to what we need to look at more and what testing we might need to order.
Yeah.
So I don't think dairy is bad at all.
Okay.
If you are not lactose intolerant, you should still be having dairy, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I feel like that was a big movement at one point, and I did get sucked into it. I cut dairy out, and I was on soya, everything. I think I read somewhere that soya helped acne, and then I got obsessed with it. And I did see an improvement, but then it stopped.
Yeah.
So whether it was luck or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it just all came back, and I'm still on soya, and it came back.
Yeah.
So what testing do you do?
So it will depend on what the client needs, but we'll look into everything. So if we think it might be some sort of intolerance, so they're having, difficulty going to the toilet or running to the toilet after a coffee, for example, or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you can do blood testing or skin prick testing to see if you have got anything there.
So intolerances.
Yeah.
Is a key one to check.
Or with other people, they have no issues like that, but we'll ask them about the cycle, and it's really quite obvious that there's an issue here. You're having a 24-day cycle, for example.
Right. And does that pinpoint to hormones usually then?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's harder to look at if someone is on contraception, because it's not a natural
period.
cycle. Yeah. But if they're not, then we get them to track the full cycle for about 3 months, looking at what day your ovulation is, how long your luteal phase is, how long your follicular phase is. And actually it's surprising how many women don't know anything about the cycle at all. So it's about education, I think, a lot of the time as well. And in which case we use different companies for hormone testing as well.
Right, okay, yeah. So I guess this is probably more common as well if someone's developed acne in like more like adult acne or like young adult acne, to start then looking at the diets and the hormones and cycles and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, so many young girls are fobbed off as well that, they're in school crying their eyes out because they are leaking through every hour, or they're in absolutely excruciating pain that they're being sick. That's not normal. No. It's common, but it's not normal.
No, and it shouldn't be.
That we need to not be thinking, okay, let's just put them on the pill for that then, because
that's masking, isn't it?
It's masking, and they're going to come off it at some point. Yeah. We need to be looking at what actually is the cause of this, and let's sort that out for them instead.
Yeah. And then once you get the results, do you then go through like a plan with how we can balance the hormones? And
we need to know what hormone is out of whack, sort of thing.
And is that usually the main thing? It's like one is out or a couple are out? How does it?
No, it can be a couple normally, but they kind of go hand in hand, sort of thing. So like your androgens and your testosterone go hand in hand, or your thyroid function and your progesterone go hand in hand. So and that's where we call in other professionals as well. Yeah. Because obviously I'm not a medic, so we're looking at what supplements or what medications might you need to go on. Yeah. So for example, like with PCOS, a lot of people will benefit from metformin, and it'll help with the periods and the weight gain and all that sort of stuff as well. And
then the acne tends to be like, once that's getting sorted, the acne can then start to
we can do peels and we can do IPL, but it probably will go, but it'll take a lot longer, and it will come back if we don't look at the root cause and finding that. And I think that's what we really try to work on. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? For someone that struggled with it for so long, you can find a great product range, or you can find a treatment that's working, but then it will keep coming back until you look at the
the root cause.
Absolutely.
And in all honesty, I never found out what the root cause of mine was. Maybe now I'm just growing out of it, now that I'm getting older. But you would think so.
Yeah,
you would
potentially.
think so at my age, but because it started so early, the fact it did respond well to Dianet indicates to me it was hormonal.
I think so. It might be that you did have too much estrogen, and then as you're getting older, your estrogen drops.
Right, so too much estrogen can be a cause of it, because I always grew up thinking too much testosterone was the cause.
That can be as well.
Yeah, and then no one ever told me about estrogen. It was always, you might have too much testosterone. Do
You
you
don't
have
fit the
hair on
bill.
your upper lip? Is your voice a bit deeper? I was
You don't fit the bill for testosterone. You don't. You're not overweight. You haven't got excess facial hair. You know.
Yeah. So potentially it could have been my estrogen then, which I was never told.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I always thought I've got too much testosterone, and I think, thinking back, Dianet that I was on suppressed testosterone. I think back then, but then my acne did come back. So like it wasn't the cure.
No, it won't be. It's always it's going to be, you know, if it is your hormones, then it's only going to work whilst you're on it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. When you come off it, all the problems are going to come back.
And let's talk a little bit about the location of acne. So when people come into your clinic or you speak to someone who's got acne, straight away from where it's located, is that sometimes a better helper for you with, this is why you're getting breakouts here?
Yeah. It goes hand in hand with the consultation and asking them about their lifestyle and things like that as well. But generally, we do see a correlation. So in terms of it being on your jawline and down your neck, a lot of the time that is sort of cystic acne. So we're talking like under the skin, really painful, has no head on it. You shouldn't squeeze them, but couldn't squeeze even if you wanted to, sort of thing. Lasts for months and can leave like depending on your skin tone, like a brown or purple mark to it.
That's me.
That tends to be hormonal, generally speaking. If we're looking at those sort of like pus-filled spots and they're on your cheeks, that I find tends to lead to diet.
Right, okay.
And something to do with your gut, whether that's leaky gut or you're very intolerant to something. And then if you've got it on your forehead, often I find that that's just sebaceous glands, and they're overproducing too much sebum.
Okay. So why are they on your forehead then? Just because
T-zone. It's oil.
T-zone oil. Yeah. And just whilst you mentioned that actually about oil, do you agree with I always see this going around social media a bit more now, that oil balances oil. So if you've got oily skin, you should actually be using oil products on your skin. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can understand why it works, and I think it does. But I think then you've got to balance it out with other things. So if you're going to someone with oily skin, using an oil-based cleanser can work. Yeah, absolutely. I would probably, for your second cleanse, follow it up with a different cleanser. Or maybe have one cleanser in the morning, one cleanser in the evening, like a foaming cleanser or something like that. Yeah. And then I wouldn't then go for something like, really dewy makeup products and things, because you're just going to cause a bit of an issue. Yeah. And we very often have to, when we're thinking about a skincare sort of like regime for someone, we won't go for everything that is just stripping or everything that is just hydrating. It tends to be a bit of a mix and match to try and keep that equilibrium. If that's the right word.
Okay, yeah. There's so much to consider, isn't there? It's literally like, I think this is where like people don't realise it as much, like, and unfortunately it is the way it is. Acne is this whole, like, what's the word? It's just like this whole lifestyle. It's this whole cycle, and unfortunately it isn't just like, I've got a really good product that I can recommend and it's going to fix it. I feel like more and more people are struggling. Like, it's more common now than it ever was before.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot to do with our lifestyles. Yeah. We don't move our bodies as much. We are experimenting with lots of different skincare brands and different actives and starting them younger, and our food just is nowhere near. We're grabbing and going, and even if you are cooking at home, I mean, who was it was different years ago. Women did stay at home. They had time to make home cooked food every single evening. Yeah, we
weren't exposed to as much processed.
Absolutely not, and even products. The soil was more nutrient dense. Yeah. We're very stressed all the time as well now. Yeah, women especially. We're trying to raise our children, go to work, keep the household going, and it's actually, when you look at it, it's meant to be done by a village. It's the reason they say it.
Exactly. Yeah, and then there's obviously just like so much social media online. People sat down, a lot of this doom scrolling with screens, and I just think that, like you mentioned before, people aren't exercising as much, and like I never really noticed the connection between like working out and acne improving until like I went through a stage of being really active and then thought, okay, my skin's getting a little bit better. So it's just this massive picture, isn't it? Yeah. It's so complicated, and actually like that's why I really wanted to touch on acne, because it doesn't just ruin how you feel like on a visual element every day, but the mental health to it as well is like terrible. There's still little habits I have today that I've picked up from when I was younger. Like, this sounds nuts, but when I used to get ready in the mirror, I couldn't have any like natural daylight shining.
I remember you telling me this.
Did I say that? Oh my
it
God.
stuck with me. Yeah.
No way, I couldn't. So I used to get ready in the dark or like with a really dim bulb light that shadowed everything. And I still do it to this day.
Yeah.
And it's just a mental thing that's instilled.
Yeah.
I can't believe you remember that.
Yeah, I do. Because actually...
It's so sad.
It is, it's really sad. But then if it stops someone from picking, you know, for some people it would actually work quite well. But I do agree it has a really big mental toll. And I think that's where the exercise comes in, because if you're improving those endorphins and things like that, then it's finding the balance between the science of it all, but also the holistic approach of, you know, let's calm down, let's slow down, let's get outside a little bit, let's ground ourselves.
So salicylic acid, that's an ingredient that's always thrown around a little bit with acne. I've been on salicylic regimes in the past before. I'm a little bit mixed with what I think about it. What are your thoughts on it?
The reason you're mixed on it is because it wasn't right for your skin.
Okay.
So when we're looking at what ingredients someone needs for acne, there are lots of different ingredients, but the two in particular are your salicylic and your retinols. So your salicylic is oil soluble, which means it sort of is attracted to the oil in your skin. So it bypasses your epidermis, which is the top layer of your skin, goes into your dermis, and that's where your hair follicles are, or your pores. Yeah. So it sort of like drinks away that oil production. That's really good for pus-filled spots. Right. You don't have that. You had cystic acne. So
I did.
Your cystic acne, the reason it's not got a head is because it's even deeper into your skin.
Okay.
So your salicylic isn't reaching deep enough in.
Right.
A retinol goes even deeper.
So literally salicylic acid goes to the hair follicle level, basically.
Where your pores
and drinks it up.
Yeah. But if you've got cystic acne, you need something a little bit deeper than that, so you need that retinol.
Right, okay. So I just found it very drying as well.
It is very drying. It is very drying.
Used on the right person, that's not a bad thing.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. I do see it in a lot of acne regimes, and I think a lot of teens will be using it. I didn't know if at some point, like, is it a bit strong for teenage skin, or
depends.
Again, is it the type of acne that they've got?
It depends on the type of skin that they've got, the type of acne that they've got. Depends how they're using it. So, you know, if you can sort of like wipe it over your face, and great. I'd say it's better than something like your benzoyl peroxide, which is very drying on your skin.
Stronger. Yeah. So we're going to move on a little bit to eczema. Obviously, I think that acne and eczema are like two skin conditions that have like a detrimental effect on mental health. And like, I personally haven't suffered from eczema, so I'm not talking from personal experience, whereas I could probably talk about acne like forever. But my little boy has eczema, and I know I've mentioned this to you before. He's 3 years old now, and it's actually the best it's ever been.
Amazing.
But yeah, it came on like when it came out when he was about 3 weeks old, and we went bad, like really, really bad. So for somebody listening who like might be suffering from eczema themselves, or their child has, or someone they know, do you just want to like put a bit of a snapshot on what is eczema, basically, and like why? You might not exactly know why it's there, but what is it?
So a lot of people think eczema is just sort of dry and itchy skin.
Yeah, that's what they say. Dry, itchy skin.
Yeah, but I'd say that's that's how eczema feels. Yeah, that's a result of eczema. It's not what eczema is. Right. So eczema is your hydrolipid barrier has become impaired in some way, some shape or form. And in doing so, it means that it's letting your water and your moisture out of your skin, but it's also letting outside agents into your skin. So whether that's toxins or chemicals or pollution, and your barrier just isn't working correctly, basically. Right.
So, and like, do you think people are just born with it? Because I was always told with my little boy, like, he's just got it. And this is probably what people have said more recently. When we was a baby, they would just say, when he was a baby, the people were just saying, like, you know, it might go soon, might just be a little flare up. But I found it so strange that he actually had it from like week 3 or 4. Yeah.
So I don't think any baby comes out of the womb with eczema.
With eczema, yeah.
No,
yeah,
they develop
which he didn't, no.
As you say, it can be as soon as a couple of weeks, you know, from being born, but they don't come out of the womb with it. Yeah. So I don't think anyone is born with eczema. No. I think babies are born with a predisposition? Is that the word? Predisposed. To eczema, whether that's the genetics or a compromised immune system, or whether it is to do with outside agents. So it's, you know, they just have a bit of a weakened barrier anyway because they're babies. Yeah. And some people are more sensitive than others. And then, you know, there's fragrance in your detergent or something that can then cause irritability to the skin.
Yeah.
So, but no, I don't think anyone is actually just born with
No,
eczema.
I know, and I hate that term when they say it. They say, like, he's just born with it, he's just got it.
No.
But then I have been told as well that a lot of people have a 7-year cycle, and because he had it so young, by the time he's 7, he could be out of that 7-year cycle.
Absolutely.
Which is great news for me, but it's not great news as such for, like, adults who develop it, and they're, like, at the prime of it. Well, say if you develop it when you're 20 and you're just going into your 20s when you're already self-conscious, and then you get eczema.
Yeah.
But people can just develop it, can't they? And, like, again, it just makes me wonder, like, what is it? Why are they just getting it?
I think it's very similar to acne in that it's a lot of it is to do with what you're exposed to.
Yeah, lifestyle.
Yeah, again, we're seeing a massive rise in it.
Yeah.
But gut health and eczema are massively, massively linked.
Right.
So I think as our guts become like weakened,
Yeah.
and we have more antibiotic use, and we're not eating as healthy, we are going to keep seeing that rise.
Yeah. And do you think there's a link with, like, people with eczema for, like, hay fever, food allergies?
Yeah,
Do you see that with, asthma?
Yeah, they all go hand in hand. But it's all a histamine response. So that does make sense that they are sort of like, if a child, for example, has eczema, they're more likely to also have asthma and allergies.
So when you say histamine response, what do you mean? So, like, that's their body's way of dealing with
Yes, that they have an overactive response to histamine,
right?
Which is why you would take an antihistamine for an allergy, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
They are more prone to inflammation and chronic inflammation. And then as you get older, stress plays a part in that. So, and again, that's where it's linked to gut as well, because if you are chronically stressed or you become stressed at work or whatever it is, you might also have a flare up with your stomach.
Right.
They tend to go hand in hand.
And yeah, it would do. One thing that I found so bizarre, and, like, I still don't know what the truth is in this, and it's one that I think if I ask certain GPs, they'll probably say it's rubbish, and then I'll ask certain other experts, they'll probably say yeah. So my little boy has got a nut allergy, quite a severe nut allergy, which we only found out about last summer. And basically we've finally done the blood test, but because he's such a severe eczema child, the skin pricks kept failing because we couldn't get his eczema down every time we did skin pricks. And I didn't want to use steroids to get it down, which we'll come on to in a second, because I'm also a little bit, like, anti the use of them, which I know you are too.
Yeah.
So in the end we had to have a blood test because we couldn't really get his flare down. So, yeah, they said it was severe peanut and then a couple of others.
Yeah.
The nuts he actually flared up to, and where we actually realised he had an allergy, came negative, which is strange. But anyway, I was speaking to this. She's actually she's like a nutritionist and food expert for mums with babies. She does she's like a paediatric nutritionist. And she said to me, of course he'll be allergic to nuts. When I told her that my husband always eats nuts in the house, she said if he was born, from 3-4 weeks with eczema and it just got more severe and more severe, she said if your husband's eating nuts around him, his skin barrier is wrecked with the eczema. The body recognises nuts as a threat, so because it's one of the top allergens, so his system has then recognised that as danger, so it's caused the allergy. Because of the skin barrier. So basically, then next time he's exposed to nuts, his body remembers, and that's how an allergy is formed. And I was literally like,
I'd argue completely against that.
Really? Because when she said it, I was literally like, oh my God. I was like, well, he always ate nuts when he had really severe eczema. But then I was thinking, surely there's people with nut allergies that never had eczema, and how on earth? So you would disagree with that?
Yeah, because they say now that, I mean, this isn't through my own research. It's just from what I know through having children, and they say that you should expose your children to all these allergens as early as possible.
Yeah, I've heard this too.
And do it quite frequently.
Yeah, and
even when you're pregnant.
I definitely didn't do it as early as I should have.
Yeah, so they do say that not exposing them to these allergens can cause an allergy.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that it was because your husband...
Because if his skin barrier was wrecked and there are nuts around him, I guess that is an exposure in a way.
Yeah. It's a form, and he would have been handling him and things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe the skin soaks in that way. soaks in the allergen.
It's a strange one. I ask a lot of people when I speak to them, and I get such mixed responses. The majority, like especially GPs, will be like, no. But she was so adamant. Anyway, it's not much I could do about it anyway, because he has it for life, obviously, the allergy, which is another nightmare. Do you have a certain set of do's and don'ts for eczema prone skin? Is there things that you would want to tell people, if anyone listening is suffering from eczema, some simple do's and don'ts that you think?
Don't use steroid cream.
Don't use steroid cream.
Would be one of our biggest
ones.
And
is this because you've seen an increasing amount of people with topical steroid withdrawal come into the clinic? Because this, again, was one of the things that fascinated me about Oh My Glow. Like, I'd watched the acne protocol videos and, like, the carousels that you'd done of someone's skin at the beginning, and obviously they're under the care of your clinic, and the improvements. And then I saw the topical steroid withdrawal pictures and how it had improved. Yeah. So I know that you have them coming to your clinic. Yeah. And have you seen a rise of this then?
It's probably, well, it definitely is our most popular thing.
Is
that we treat.
It?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, by far.
And do you find it's people that have been using them from very little? When I was going to say, right, because I know people back then, there was no warning. It was like the only thing you ever got prescribed for eczema. Here's a steroid cream. So you knew no different. So you would
it still is, to be honest. That's the issue. Is that
that's all we were given.
Yeah, some GPs or a lot of doctors and dermatologists don't believe in topical steroid withdrawal.
No,
currently.
they don't, do they now?
Some do now, and some just say it's not a withdrawal. You're just having a skin flare. Yeah. So it's still very much prescribed. Yeah. The issue for me with steroid creams and hydrocortisone and these sorts of things is that, well, one, it's a drug, so those dangers should be told to you. With any other drug, you're told the side effects. Yeah, you are. Yeah, and all we're really told is that it thins the skin. Yeah, thins the skin. That to me, when I first heard it, meant years ago, well, all people get thinner skin, so I'll just look like that. We need to be telling people that actually it's a drug. Your skin becomes reliant on it. Like addicted. Completely addicted. Mm-hmm. And it stops working after a while. Right. So then you have to go up in strength. And then that stops working and you go up in strength and that stops working. And then you're in this cycle. Until you have to come off it because it's not working anyway. Yeah. And then your whole body flares. So you might see people with completely full head to toe topical steroid withdrawal. Yeah. Doesn't mean they had eczema everywhere. They could have just had one patch of eczema. Right. But the withdrawal goes all over your body. It's gone through the body. Yeah. That is awful. And they don't, there is no warnings. No. Luckily I did have friends that had told me about topical steroid withdrawal, so I was very cautious with my little boy not to use it on him. But every single time I would see a doctor, they would always say, even if you just do a short, sharp hit. Yeah. And then I'd be like, oh God, should I? And I did do it a couple of times and I had to. But it never stopped. So it would then come back. Exactly. And in my head, I would always be like, and I say luckily, obviously it's not lucky because I don't wish to know anyone with TSW, but I did. And I think, well, I can't use it again because of that. Yeah. But are you seeing people that have only used them for a short period of time then get TSW? When I say short, it's not, that's the way they should be used. Yeah. If you are going to use them, is a short period of time. And in which case, that shouldn't cause any sort of issues. Yeah. The way that steroids work is to calm the inflammation in the skin. But the issue with that is that the eczema will go away whilst you're using it because you've calmed the inflammation. As soon as you stop using it, it's going to come back, the inflammation, if you've not found the root cause of the problem. So you can't really use it for a short amount of time. Yeah. And then people, so it's masking. Yeah, and people do then keep using it because, well, it worked when I was on it last week, so I'll use it this week. Yeah. And then you get caught in that cycle. Yeah. So root cause with eczema, I'm guessing again, this could be a lot of different things, but with a lot of people, does it tend to be the gut? Most of the time, I see it as the gut. But it's not as easy as there's something up with your gut. It's finding what it is. Yeah. Is it an allergy? Is it an intolerance? Is it that you've got leaky gut? Yeah. Is it that you've got bacteria overgrowth? If so, which bacteria? Right. A lot of people say, well, let's just use loads of prebiotics and probiotics. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. That if you've got an overgrowth of bacteria, even if it's a good bacteria, you're going to cause more growth in that bacteria. So you basically need to uncover what the bacteria is. Yeah. Before whether that's a stool test or a blood test or whatever. Yeah. And that's something that was never offered to us with Tyler. We never is with kids. Yeah, we were never given anything. They will do for adults. They might do a skin prick test. Yeah. But you have to push hard, and
Yeah.
then with children, they just don't
Yeah.
really test it. You have to go
think
private.
you grow out of it, and then they tell us to remove milk, which we did, and it didn't help.
No, because if you're not
Yeah.
allergic to it, that's
I
not
know.
your cause.
And you
then-
know what, with some, I have spoke to some mums, and they said, we removed milk and it faded. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you got it. And it did it almost immediately
Yeah.
after like 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, we were like a year dairy free, and I was like, I know, we just kept carrying on because we thought, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Like, we literally just did not know what else to do. So that's when you use Dermalux in your clinic for TSW.
Yeah.
And you see amazing results with that.
Huge
So,
results.
yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
And do you find for them that comes part of, like, not necessarily like a lifelong treatment, but something for long term that to keep it healing?
If we found the root cause, then no.
Right.
So, for example, Louise is one of the ones who's pinned on our page. You've probably
Yeah.
seen her.
Yeah.
People
I've
stop
seen
her
it.
in Starbucks and stuff and like, oh, you're the girl who had topical
Yeah.
steroid withdrawal. Like,
It's fascinating, the improvement.
We now treat her with hydrofacials and all sorts of things, which you absolutely could not do while someone has eczema.
Whilst having that, yeah.
Yeah. And it's gone. Not saying she doesn't ever get a flare,
Yeah.
but it's a very, very short-lived flare, and she
Yeah.
knows what causes her flares now.
Yeah.
So she knows that, I've been really stressed at work this week.
Yeah.
That's why I'm flaring, for
Yeah.
example. And then in which case she might just need one little session on the Dermalux and she's good to go.
Yeah.
But no, generally speaking, the idea is that we get you to a place where your skin is healed,
Yeah.
your gut is healed, you know what your
Yeah.
root causes are, you know what your triggers are, and
Yeah.
you can avoid them.
Yeah. And that starts with tests as well then, for some of that, like, if, like, you do have to dig quite deep, really.
Yeah.
To get the tests.
Yeah.
And see.
Not
So it's like-
always.
yeah.
I had eczema,
Yeah.
and I treated it with the Dermalux, and after 2 weeks it was gone, and it's
Right.
never come back.
Yeah.
So it just
that's
depends.
Great. That is a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if someone's a bit more complicated and it might be the gut, it could be a bacteria.
Yeah,
it
mine was
could
very
be
localised, so it
food or
depends
lifestyle, yeah.
where it is. And
Yeah.
things like that as well.
So this has been so interesting. Like, I literally could talk about acne,
Mm-hmm.
eczema, skin conditions all day, and I actually would on here. But obviously, I'm aware that you've got a little boy on your lap,
Yeah.
who's been an absolute dream.
He has been
It's
very
literally
good.
like, he wanted a chat at the beginning, and then after that, he's like, it's okay, I'm just going to sleep.
Such a sweaty mess, that's right.
I know, it's like the hottest day of the year. So thank you so much for sitting here on the hottest day of the year with a baby on your lap talking about acne and eczema. So I'm just going to finish up with a few extra thoughts that I feel like the listeners are really, some of them don't have knowledge in these areas, and I think that they could really benefit from a little bit of an expert opinion. So thoughts on the term medical grade skincare, because there's a bit again online where people are like, it shouldn't be called medical grade, it's rubbish, and others that are like, well, actually the ingredient, how they're put together and the strengths, it is, and it works.
It's an unregulated term.
A non-regulated term.
Yeah. So it doesn't have much meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Have we
It's a
all
fancy
used
name.
it? Yes, absolutely. And the strengths, well, not even necessarily the strengths, the white papers behind the ingredients,
Yeah.
the research has been done.
Yeah.
It's with anything over the counter.
Because you have to be prescribed, don't you? You have to get it prescribed.
Yes, by someone
Like,
who's
or
got the
someone
correct
who can
qualifications.
do it, yeah.
Instead of listening to an influencer on TikTok
Yeah.
and telling you what you should be using.
Yeah.
If you go to something over the counter, it needs really like one dermatologist to back it, and then it says dermatologically tested,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So it's
Yeah.
all very clever marketing where you can't do that with products that come from a clinic
Right.
that you can't buy over the counter.
Yeah.
So, for example, if someone is selling Elmis, that's different. It's
Yeah.
a spa-based brand. I'm not saying, I'm not slating it in any
Yeah.
way, but it's spa-based.
Yeah.
It's not got the sort of, it's not going to fix any problems for you, sort
No.
of thing. The way
It's a nice to have, but
Yeah.
it's not a fixer.
Absolutely. I'd say your top skincare brands, if you're going to go to a clinic, are going to be Illumia,
Yep.
Zedo, and Abaji,
Yep.
personally.
And they're the ones that are really listed as your medical grades that you'd get at clinics.
Yeah.
And that are the,
Yeah.
I've used, I haven't used the Zedo, but I've used the other two, and I have seen good results. And
Yeah.
they are more expensive.
They are. They're
But
very expensive.
I've been very careful, like, to make them last long, and I have seen results, and I do hear a lot of positive things.
Yeah.
So, like, from doing a bit of research on my side, I have, like, looked at the ingredients and, like, the percentages of them, and so sometimes you can see the difference.
The issue with the Abaji is the same as it's Tret when you're looking at
Yes.
vitamin A.
Yes.
So it can be far too strong
Yeah.
for some people.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, like, I don't know if once my skin barrier's all fixed, I'd like to go back on Tret at some point, but if so, it would be the lowest amount, and I would just sandwich, but I'm
Yeah.
not there yet
But
to
why?
even look at.
If you could use
Yeah,
a retinol,
And this is it, yeah, exactly. It's the whole...
you just
it's-
don't need it. Your skin
yeah,
doesn't need it. You've
it's-
got good skin.
thank you.
So
oh
you
my
just...
goodness, thank you. You can say that all day. I'm the first one to look in the mirror and just be like, oh my God, it's not, it's awful.
Don't we all do that to ourselves, though?
So LED masks from the top brands like Current Body and Shark. What are your thoughts on those?
Them are two. If I was going to buy one at home, it'll be one of those two.
So
they are really good. They're tested. The wavelengths are correct.
Yeah.
They're never going to be anywhere near as powerful as an in-clinic professional LED mask that covers more surface area and things like that. But if you're going to commit to it and you know you can do it 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, you will get results.
Okay. Accutane, being on it as an internal, like a pill.
Last resort ever.
Yeah.
If you've looked at everything to do with your gut health, you've looked at your hormones, you've looked at your skincare, you've looked at your lifestyle, and it's not improving. Yeah. Potentially. But we need to really know those side effects, you know, and I know a client who was having nosebleeds every day.
Oh my God.
Nearly went blind.
Whoa.
Her brother was on it and his mental health plummeted.
Because I was offered it when I think I've been going to a dermatologist for years when I was younger, and every time I went it never improved, and I've been on all the horrible creams, and he did say it's time for Roaccutane, as we call it here. Is it Accutane more in America? And at the time I was with my mum, I must have been about 17, 18, and she said no, like even though I was technically old enough to make my own decision, my mum was still very much involved in all my decisions and said no. I've read on there that it can cause suicidal thoughts. Absolutely not. And I mean, at the time I was fine with it, and then it was only when it went really bad years after I thought, should I have gone on it? Is that where I messed up? Now I've got scarring. But I can't go back in time. No. I still don't know if it would, but I don't like what I see about what's in it.
And the thing is, you have to be on contraception if you're going to be on Roaccutane.
Yeah. So I would have been on Diana and Roaccutane. My body would be a mess.
Yeah, you'd be shaking as you walk.
Probably quite a controversial one. Brands like The Ordinary, who obviously are very ingredient focused, and an affordable way to buy your azelaic acid, your niacinamide. Yeah. What do you think?
It's difficult because I wouldn't publicly say anything bad about any brand.
No.
My issue with them is that they are very hard to understand if you don't know what you're doing.
They are so hard to understand. And I think people kind of look at them and think, okay, I don't really understand it, but they know, and this sounds good, so I'm going to get it. Yeah,
and they call their products the ingredients, which if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be using something crazy on your skin.
Yeah.
I think, again, I could be wrong on this, it might be something they used to do. Their retinols are mixed with squalene. So it's being able to shift through the noise of it all.
Yeah.
Know what you're doing.
A bit more education.
Yeah, which most people don't have.
Yeah.
So I personally would just be wary.
Yeah. Old wives' tale, pseudocreme and toothpaste on spots.
Definitely not toothpaste.
Oh, wow. Why? What's the ingredient in that? I don't know.
Well, it's there for cleaning your teeth, isn't it? Yeah. It stings for a reason. The same way, I remember I used to do it when I was a teenager after shaving perfume.
Yeah.
Because it stings, it must be working.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's literally just, you're going to just damage your barrier.
Yeah.
Pseudocreme. It's healing. Yeah, it's healing. It's going to calm the redness. It's going to calm the pain a little bit, and probably stop you from picking. But is it going to get rid of your acne?
No. Maybe for the odd. If you just get an odd one and you're like, I'm not buying anything, but don't expect miracles.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And the last one, bleach baths, which you might have heard. And it sounds so much scarier than it is, because I'd seen it online and thought, oh my God. And then when I found out it's a couple of capfuls of the Milton sterilising fluid. So I looked into this for Tyler, and I did try it on him because I understood what it was doing, because they say that with eczema they've got an overgrowth of the, I can't pronounce it, staph bacteria. Yeah, staph bacteria. Can't say the full word. And I kind of got it. And I did it for not very long at all. Maybe did a few baths of it. It just wasn't something I kept up. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it probably serves a purpose.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you say that.
Yeah,
because I got loads of hate when I put it online.
You will. And
maybe because I used the word bleach bath, which people was like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, okay, sorry guys, it wasn't actually a bleach bath. That's the term.
But if you look at Dettol, Dettol say that you can use it as well. And I know a lot of people use it after they've been to soft play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually think it's used in the right way, fine.
Yeah.
But it can't be the only thing you do.
No,
Because it's not going to cause... Yeah, it's not going to cure it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess you've got to know that and I don't know if every person with eczema has an overgrowth of the staph infection. Like, is it like, do all people with eczema have that, or some? I don't know.
I mean, I'd have to be a scientist to look into it. I don't know, to be honest.
A doctor told me once, he looked at Tyler and said, yeah, I think he does have an overgrowth of that bacteria, so you'll be fine to do that.
We all have the bacteria. It's just how your body
Right.
responds to the bacteria.
Right.
And how your inflammation,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
your white cell markers
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
I think you'll probably be better and more beneficial to do like a Dead Sea salt bath.
Yeah. Yeah, that
rather
makes
than
more
a Dettol
sense,
bath.
actually.
But I don't think
Yeah,
it's going to
bit
cause
more
any
in.
problem. But it probably will sting a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, isn't it? If it would sting, especially if the eczema's like broken and open, it's probably not going to be nice.
Yeah.
Right, I think that wraps it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm glad. I mean, we can talk about this all day.
Yeah, we really could,
We're
yeah.
literally like, I'm not nearly ready to
No.
finish, but I just know it's like 30 degrees outside and you've got a baby, and I'm so thankful that you've come and talked to everybody. So if you could let everyone know where they can find you.
So we're Oh My Glow Cheshire on Instagram and TikTok and Skin Society.
Amazing, thank you. And I do think that if anybody listening in particular that is struggling with acne or eczema or knows somebody who is, I just think it's a really good thing to do, to point them to the protocols that they share on the Oh My Glow Instagram, because the before and afters are amazing. And I just think if somebody was to talk to you and have a proper consultation, they could actually learn the bigger picture about what they need to do.
Yeah.
Which is what we need, rather than this whole world of marketing.
Yeah, just
thousands of
guesswork.
products.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you guys. Don't forget to follow along at parlorbeauty.co.uk on Instagram. I also share these podcast clips on @byEmmaWillett. And if there's any particular guests or any topics that you'd like us to talk about, do let us know in the comments. Thank you. Bye.